Alright everybody, welcome to game number 1, Battlefield of Eternity, the Bob Ross fan club going up against Team eLevate. We're actually looking here at the first game of the playoffs of the Enter the Storm North America, and we are a little bit late to the draft. As you can see, we already have a few of the picks made, and we can talk over those just a little bit. First pick, first ban on the side of eLevate, and pretty normal Tyrande ban here and there, and with a Kelthas ban on the Bob Ross fan club. Mac Laggett, cheers bro for the support. Thank you very much for that, dude. And yeah, actually, some interesting stories here after all.
Khaldor any way to split the tourney today into multiple broadcasts per match to watch VOD. Sooner, about to drive home from work.
We'll see, dude. There's a lot of backlog that I still have with my VODs, but we're gonna give that a shot. But yeah, thanks for the support, bro, and I hope that you arrive in time for our games here. The interesting part for me personally in the draft, as we're talking about the games, is that we have a Tyrande as a first ban and not as a second ban. Oftentimes she's banned second because we try to pick her up, but in this case they banned her out, so we have a Jaina and Muradin as a counter to that Zagara first. There's a couple of teams these days in the North America server that really go for a Zagara first whenever they have an opportunity to do that, so this is exactly happening now as we speak too. And a Tassadar with that gives you already the option to go into maybe a Brightwing as the additional support. Brightwing isn't really played too much right now. She still has her place in the meta, but mostly she's played together with another support like Tassadar. That's where we actually see a lot of this combo happening. The Bob Ross fan club, on the other hand, with Malfurion here, so they're going for a very similar approach to what they already showed us in the past, where they try to lock down targets quite heavily. They banned out Uther, and a second ban was also Charism, so both of the teams are really starting to ban out a lot of the healers here. And Bob Ross fan club have now Malfurion, which basically forces eLevate already into that Brightwing. I mean, you could still go into the Medic, of course, you could go into Morales, you could also play it here if you wanted to with a Rhaegar, which is still very, very popular, especially in the North American meta. Rhaegar is probably played the most in China and North America right now. Europe, for some reason, is completely disregarding the hero at this time, which is always a bit funny to see, but in China and North America, he is played a lot, and he's a very, very strong healer at that, of course. But the idea of the Bob Ross fan club here with the Malfurion is that they can really lock a target down. So Muradin hits the stun, Malfurion hits the root, and Jaina hits the blizzards, and they're all good to go to eliminate a target. A very interesting draft, that's the Rhaegar, by the way. A very interesting draft considering that a lot of the heroes that we oftentimes have very early in the draft have been banned out late or disregarded or picked late. ETC normally one of the first picks that we see in the game. We have at the same time Uther also banned out second and not as one of the first picks. So it's pretty interesting to see how that draft here comes to pass. Also, no Sylvanas taken just yet, which is a bit of a surprise if you think about how Sylvanas usually finds her way into any draft that happens on Battlefield of Eternity, Dragonshire, Infernal Shrines, just maps where you have something pushing in. I really like that false set approach that we have from the Bob Ross fan club here, though, as the last one. What's going on there? Asphalt Junge, hey, some German support here. Thanks, bro.
Keep up the great work.
Will do. Oh, we're starting heavy today. So, Bob Ross fan club with a pretty solid setup. eLevate as well. What I like in eLevate's setup here is definitely that potential between ETC and Zagara. They might be a little bit weak on the damage side, to be honest with you. I mean, they have Reyna, they have the Storm on Tassa, and have Zagara, but it's a lot of single target damage compared to the AoE damage that you oftentimes want to get. So they have to see how they can play it here. Interesting is also that the Bob Ross fan club doesn't have too much what really threatens ETC here. So they have, of course, the Mighty Gus and Falstad, they have Muradin with the Stormwall. They have definitely a couple of options, but it's not like this heavy setup that you oftentimes see against an ETC where you try to just sync up as many stuns as you possibly can. But Battlefield of Eternity is going to be a cool map, and the lineup for the Bob Ross fan club is very solid. I like the draft here quite a bit, and we're going to find out if they can take game number 1 or if it's going to be, in the end, Team eLevate that takes the lead here in this series. So let's jump into Battlefield of Eternity and find out together. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 at the Enter the Storm North America playoffs. And we have the Bob Ross fan club going up against Team eLevate. And it's game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity. To the left side, we have McIntyre on Vala for the Bob Ross fan club. Erho is playing Muradin. Kenma on Malfurion. Zuna on Jaina. And Arthelon on Falstad. To the right side of the map, their opponent, Team eLevate, with Nesper on Tassadar, Bossfloss on ETC, Hakfu on Zagara, Bashix on Rhaegar, and Killik is playing Reyna. So this should be a pretty fun one. Keep in mind that, of course, we have 8 teams overall in the entire setup. There it is already, the new mount. We're having the Vulture in play. Somebody has created all those Smurf accounts there. Yep, that's McIntyre right there. And looking good doing it. Big pressure play here on both sides of the map. It's very, very common right now, but let's see how long they're going to go through with that. Zagara, of course, is adding some extra pushing power on the side of Team eLevate. They might be a bit faster. I mean, liking those level 1 talents, by the way, especially when we're talking about Shandow's Clarity. So Malfurion not going for any of these earlier talents that he could have taken, but instead just decides to go into the Mana talent, which is actually pretty sweet. That's already awesome. Arthalon with a movement on the map, soaking experience down here, and also making sure that he's at least able to put some pressure on them. Looking up at the top, the teams are roughly at the same time ready with that, but here comes the attempt to go for a bit of a flank, but already thwarted. Well done. So very aggressive start into the game. It's a bit more common these days to do that. Usually you try to do it when you have Sylvanas in your team, and we oftentimes see teams just like going straight for one tower, burst it down, and then start to rotate away from the lane and try to just like soak the experience, of course. In this game, it works a little bit differently for now. Both of them are just like going with 5-man onto lane and burst down the entire wall. That, of course, brings us into a situation where level 4 is going to be reached a little bit faster by both of these teams, and that means that during the Immortal time, we're going to have an easy level 4 for the two of them. We have in terms of talent, now the Deep Chill still taken on Jaina, which is an interesting talent. I mean, it's a talent that we've been talking about a lot lately. The last patch really screwed with it a bit. It's now only an increase from 25 to 30%. Oh, looks like we could see a problem on Killick there. And Boss Floss as well. Oh, ETC already down. First blood in the game. Job well done. But yeah, especially now that increase with the 5% from 25 to 30 is something that a lot of players take as a reason to not go into Deep Chill anymore and instead go for the Lingering Chill. You see that talent more and more coming into play. But for now, it's still old school style that we're seeing here from Zuna. And also, we have the Immortals being attacked, and so far the Ross Fanclub is doing a bit better with this. And thanks to the kill that they already got earlier, oh my god, Bashik is in a lot of trouble up here. He gets stunned and taken out. Rhaegar is down, and that's level 4 already for the Ross Fanclub. McIntyre soaking some additional experience as everybody else is already moving in. Hawkfu with the vision on the map. One of the main reasons that you see a Zagara in these games is, of course, that she can, with the creep tumors, get so much vision onto the map and has very good sustain now as well. The team's still soaking EXP, and as long as eLevate doesn't have level 4, they can't really fight here. We have on level 4 now also Versatile taken, so I actually like that quite a bit, because these talents with mana are amazing, and it allows also for some very cool adjustments in builds if you want to, but especially heroes like Vala can just now spam out her spells as much as they want to. We have here Arcane Intellect taken as the level 4 talent for Zuna's Jaina. Doesn't really have to go into that, in my opinion, if Kenma already uses the Innovate talent, so he could have really just like maybe gone for a few of those Ice Lands talents, Ice Shards on 4, Ice Lands on 7. That would definitely have made some sense if you don't have to worry about any mana at all in here as well. Malfurion should be more than enough to equip her with that. Anyways, as is, they are moving in with the Immortal. There's that route that we've been talking about, and Boss Floss still gets away thanks to the Power Slide. Job well done here. When we're talking about talents, we have Flow Rider now also as the level 4 talent over the potential Power Throw, so that you get the recharge a little bit faster once that your Tailwind activates. That oftentimes leads us into a different level 16 talent as well. Oh, nice kill. ETC down again. And the Ross Fanclub is really starting to make quite a bit of headway here. They might not be able to take down that fort. Actually, looking at it, I think they will be able to take it. And Muradin jumping in, but Erho misses the Stormbolt. They're still in a little bit of an awkward spot here, since Immortal is down and that fort is still there. Kenma and McIntyre, they're moving away. They're extremely low. Killick is trying to get a bit of extra damage in, and he hits Kenma right in the face. But Malfurion is getting away. So that being said, we have on the side of Team eLevate, Rhaegar taken down in a one-on-one against Falstad up at the top. So that was a pretty sweet move, and Falstad is able to take down the fort. Arthalon playing really well here. And just look at that experience lead that we're already having for them. I mean, that is pretty impressive. If they can lock down Tacita as well. Oh, maybe a bit of an early shift. Oh, but Erho misses his stun. But Nespa turns around, God knows why. Falstad is down, but so is Tacita. It's kill for a kill, and overall that means 5 kills against 2. But now the level 7 talents are in play, and once again on Jaina we see the Icelands, and we have the secret weapon still on Falstad, and we're talking about now the battle momentum on Muradin and searing arrows for Vala. Yeah, when we talk about Tacita, it's the Kala's Embrace. It's just a combination between the Leeching Plasma and Embrace. So he's going full heal, despite the fact that they already have a second healer in play. And in this case, it's Bashix who also went straight for the cleanse on level 7, plus Chain Reaction and Spirit Walker's Grace, so mana reduction into the increased heal. And it's very likely that we're going to see on 13 and 16 the healing talents as well. I mean, we're talking about Healing Surge and, of course, then also later on the Tidal Waves, which are just absolutely powerful talents if you are trying to get your team to max health again. But overall, the experience lead that we are seeing on the side of Team Bob Ross is really significant. An entire level 5 minutes in, that's quite a bit, especially if you are heading into level 10. That heroic ability could really ruin the day of Team eLevate in this first game. So now we have also a few of those camps on the map starting to push in again, but already the Immortal is being attacked down here. And this time it looks very much like eLevate is trying to burst it down as fast as they can, but ETC is too... Oh my god, if he dies again. He gets away, but just barely. He really needs some heals, and Bashix was already like pretty busy healing the rest of the team. So for now we have at the top lane still Tacita soaking experience and pushing. The entire reason here is really that they want to get the level 10 so that they have a more or less uncontested Immortal, where they know that the opponent can't do anything about it. And you can already tell that eLevate knows exactly that this is going to happen, so they don't really have much choice here. They are attempting to at least get rid of some of the hit points to reduce the shield, but if they lose ETC now as well, and it looks like they might, then that is going to... Oh my god. They are up against the level 10 now. We're going Strafe, Avatar, Tranquility, Mighty Gust, and Water Elemental. And of course, with level 10 versus level 8, there's nothing else to do for the Bob Ross fan club but simply move in, take the Immortal, and then take it from there. It's going to be a pretty massive shield as well, and they are just playing an incredible game here already. I mean, they came in first in the rankings, and from all the 4 qualifiers that they participated in, they won every single one of them. They are one of the big favorites when we're talking about the North America qualifier. It's the first season of the North American Enter the Storm. Of course, in the future, we're planning to have a few more than that, but it's going to be pretty awesome to see how the Bob Ross fan club is going to fare once the Cloud9 is back in the US. And of course, Tempo Storm is also working on a new lineup, and once that is completed and released and they are starting to play these tournaments, it's going to be pretty amazing to see how the Bob Ross fan club is going to measure up against them. But so far, they haven't really won anything here just yet. They're doing well against eLevate, who, by the way, came in 8th, so on the last possible playoff spot. But still, this is only the first day. We've been talking about it earlier. Winner bracket, that's where we are at right now. And we are looking at the first game of the day and also of the tournament. It's a best of 3 series. And at this point, we're already seeing the push at the bot lane. That fort is about to be eliminated. And the Immortal is starting to push in. This is level 10s finally for eLevate. It was about time. They have the Force Wall now. Ancestral Healing. We are also seeing, of course, once again that Mosh Pit plus Hyperion. And let's see what we're going to have for Zagara. It should be a Maw. I would be very surprised to see anything else, but she hasn't taken it yet. Once again, we're seeing the Hyperion released, and that's, of course, a bit of zoning that they can now rely upon. But still, there we go. They start to move in, and the towers are gone. They are aiming for the first keep in the game. 8 minutes into the match. Maw has finally been picked, and Arthalon is already trying to zone here a bit, using that hammer again. The Maw hits Jaina, but nobody else. Boss Floss could attempt to slide in, but I doubt it. Zuna loses quite a few hit points. Oh, there's the Mosh Pit, and Erho is in cooldown on his Stormbolt. Can't use it yet, so there was no chance for him to get anything done here. And already we have the keep about to fall. Mirrodin in a bit of trouble, but ETC is already dead, and Erho jumps in with another Stormbolt. He could end the life of Zagara, and he does. Also, Tacita is about to drop, and they could even think about finishing the game here. We are only 9 minutes into the game, and the Bob Ross fan club, mercilessly, they make their way in and try to end the game as is. 2 seconds on ETC and 9 minutes into the match. This is not looking good for eLevate, not at all. And here comes the first kill. Jaina is down, but it doesn't matter anymore. McIntyre and the rest of the team are finishing the job. GG, 9 minutes and 20 seconds, and Bob Ross is ahead with a 1-0 against Team eLevate. Yeah, Curse Hollow is game number 2, or map number 2, and so far the Bob Ross fan club has been a little bit stronger, I want to say, against Team eLevate. It was an execution. I mean, it was a complete slaughter what we saw in game number 1. If you lose a match against another team in the competitive scene in 10 minutes, then you know that something went really wrong. And for eLevate, that definitely happened. So now Abatha is being banned out by the Bob Ross fan club. We have, therefore, eLevate with the opportunity to either ban Tyrande or ban Kel'Thas and give the other one up to Bob Ross fan club, or they could just simply say they ban something else and at least keep an opportunity for themselves to take one of these heroes. They could have banned out a Tacita, for example. Bob Ross fan club might have reacted with a Tyrande pick, and then eLevate at least had a chance to go into the Kel'Thas. Now, as Tyrande is banned out, it's kind of likely that the Bob Ross fan club is going to use that Kel'Thas early on in the draft. We've seen a few teams that try to go for different heroes. In the European scene, a hero that you would see now is Falstad. Very likely, at least, that Falstad would be picked. He is very strong as is, but on Cursed Hollow in particular, Falstad can also like steal those bosses away, so he's a very popular pick. Kel'Thas, on the other hand, is a very solid choice, and you can't really go wrong with Kel'Thas. He gives a lot of damage to the team. He is in a very solid position. Zagara works as well. I've been talking in the last draft actually a bit about how Zagara seems to be picked very early by a few teams, and that's now also the Bob Ross fan club. It's one of these things that sets especially the North American meta apart again from Europe and also from China. We've seen high priorities on Zagara in the past, but if you're talking about like the last month, the last 6 weeks, Zagara hasn't really seen that priority anymore. And most of the teams just like started to pick her in the middle of the draft, but now, just in the last couple of days, I feel like the meta is starting to lean a bit towards Zagara again. I've mentioned it in the last draft, but there's a lot of teams right now that really prioritize her quite highly. And the reasons are, of course, simple. I mean, especially with those small corridors in Cursed Hollow, you get a lot of good Morphs in. You have a lot of vision thanks to the creep tumors, and she overall is just very solid. She doesn't have a great escape or anything, but she's really a decent hero and can give you a lot of pushing power and also damage during those fights. eLevate is running it with the Kel'Thas. They had the opportunity to go into an ETC, but decided to go Muradin instead, which makes, of course, a whole lot of sense since he is a very good frontliner. The Bob Ross fan club, theoretically, with the option to go into ETC plus also Uther. And I actually think that this is a pretty dirty combo if you already have Zagara. I mean, you can do some naughty, naughty things if you have those 3 heroes, and they might choose to go for that. But they can branch out and go for a completely different setup with what they're currently running here. We are talking so many different options. I mean, Sonya plus Uther would be just another possibility of the ones that you have here. You could also go into something completely different and at this point decide that you add a Jaina to your lineup. Zuna could play her again, and if you have that more as a starting point, then you can really get a lot of damage in. We saw Malfurion for the Bob Ross fan club earlier. So far, there's of course a lot of healers out there that he can still take. There's that Jaina, but if you have a Malfurion together with Zagara and Jaina, you can really try to go for a bit of a lockdown comp. Personally, I still think that if Malfurion, he's probably going to be picked a bit later after we're going to see a few of those bans coming in as well. But right now, the Bob Ross fan club, after that Jaina, they still have the option and they go for Uther. So with Uther, they have a very solid choice here. eLevate, I suppose that they might ban out one of the tanks. If I was them, I would probably get rid of... I would get rid of ETC. I mean, you can ban something else. Sonya together with the Divine Shield is just super strong. So anything that they are afraid of that the Bob Ross fan club might run together with that Uther is worth banning out here, I suppose. But especially that ETC with Zagara would give me a bit of a headache. They decide to go into Reyna ban. Now that I find surprising because that is one of those bans that I don't really fully understand. Reyna is strong. He's definitely a ban-worthy hero, don't get me wrong. But it's just like I feel there's too many other heroes out there that the Bob Ross fan club could use to combo with the already existing lineup that they have here. Whereas another damage dealer, I'm not 100% certain if that really matters to them too much. I mean, yes, Reyna is strong on this map, but you can also go into a Vala, you can go into a Falstad, for example, if you want to have some single target damage. So even if eLevate goes now into a very frontliner heavy setup and plays like a triple tank or double tank plus X melee assassin, there would still be some giant killer heroes around that they could go for. The Bob Ross fan club with the ban on Sylvanas. She has a lot of pushing power on that silence, of course, as well. So they want to make sure that she's not being part of the equation, which makes also a lot of sense. We've seen her a lot lately, and she's a really strong hero to have. eLevate with the Tacita first. I would suppose with the Tacita we could see a Brightwing here in play. At least I personally like that combo quite a bit. You get a lot of vision on the map, you have a lot of shields to throw around. Brightwing has those heals as well. and they go into a Sonya first. And I think that comp that they are running here right now is actually very strong. Sonya plus Muradin is very good. If you have in the backline then Kalthas, that's amazing for you. I would probably rather run a Karazim with that or a Rhaegar than a Brightwing, but Brightwing can also like help. You have basically the option to go into all 3 heroes. The only hero that I wouldn't really want to see there is probably a Malfurion, since I don't feel he adds too much to that particular setup now. The Bob Ross fan club, as I said, they are picking ETC. I personally thought that eLevate would be ETC, ban him out, especially for that reason. I'm very surprised that they allow that combo to happen. Divine Shield now ready for an ETC, a Morse follow-up, Jaina there with the potential Ring of Frost. I would go Ring of Frost here. We saw Water Elemental in the last game and it makes a whole lot of sense. Both of the heroics absolutely viable, but if you get that Mosh Pit off with the use of Divine Shield, you want to have that Ring of Frost so that you can go Ring of Frost, Blizzard, Cone of Cold, and just blast away whatever's there. And that is something that the Bob Ross fan club in theory can do now. They choose the Karazim. Oh, they might play Damage Monk here. That looks very much like they are taking a page out of Team Liquid's book. The Malfurion, oh god, I was dreading that would happen. I don't understand this pick. I really don't like it. I don't think that Malfurion itself is really a hero that can support Sonya the way that she wants to be supported. And yeah, I really feel that even a Brightwing would have been better there, but I would have leaned towards Rhaegar with this setup. Rhaegar with the Ancestral Healing for Sonya, and also the Lightning Shield, keep that in mind, is actually giving her a bit more damage. It's also giving her another opportunity to get rid of those creep tumors. Then again, Malfurion can use his Moonfire spam, so that works as well. But yeah, Malfurion, he's very popular in North America, and his Tranquility is oftentimes used as a counter to Kalthas damage, his AoE damage potential. But in this lineup, I'm not a fan of Malfurion as a healer. Again, eLevate will have to show what they can do with him. The Bob Ross fan club has a very solid setup. Karazim most likely going to be played as a damage monk here. At least they could. It can be very powerful. Team Liquid does it a lot. We're going to see if they are trying to play it with double healer simply, or if they're going to go in damage monk. Cursed Hollow, game number 2, and we're going to find out if the Bob Ross fan club can take it 2-0, or if eLevate is going to come back into the series. Game number 2, everybody. We have the Bob Ross fan club in the lead here at the Enter the Storm North America playoffs. And well, for now, we have to the left side the Bob Ross fan club again, this time with McIntyre on Karazim, Kenman Uther, so a double support already with the potential to see Karazim go into a damage build. Zuna on Jaina, we have Erho and ETC as the solo tank in the setup, Arthalon on Zagara. And to the right side, we have Team eLevate with Nespa on Sonya, Boss Floss on Muradin, Hawkfu on Tacita, Bashix on Malfurion, and Killik is playing a Kalthas. And indeed, it is the Damage Monk. We have Iron Fists taken on the level 1, so pretty much what Team Liquid oftentimes does. One of the cool things to do when you are actually like playing a Karazim as a damage dealer is that you have a Relentless available on level 13, which is an absolutely amazing talent to keep you alive. It's a great talent to have, and it's one of the reasons why a Karazim can actually go really ham during these situations. Personally, I'm pretty interested to see if it's going to be the exact same build that Lowell uses for Team Liquid when he plays this setup. We have, of course, a bit of tower pressure again on both sides. Lowell usually with the overtake on level 4, on level 7, then the Way of 100 Fists. Of course, the 7-sided strike is usually coming into play. And then on 13, the Relentless. And from there on, you can go into the reduced cooldown on level 16 before you head into your 20. The Transgression is very, very often taken if you play a damage monk. But we're not quite there yet, just to give you guys a bit of an idea of what a proper build looks for if you play Karazim with the damage. And oh, we can already tell what a proper kill looks. And this is Kalthas dying first of all, but it might also be the end of Muradin. Zuna is already on the case, went probably into the deep chill again. Boss Floss tries to get away, and no way. Oh. Alright, he dies, but that would have been pretty funny if he could have just jumped out there. Deep chill indeed it is on the level 1. So we have for Kalthas, not even a talent taken by the way. Didn't go into the Mana Addict here yet, which is for most Kalthas player an automated, like basically the auto talent to take. Felon Fusion every now and then is also taken for him. Warpaint now, and that combos of course quite well if you're trying to go into Leeching Plasma with Tacita, which is something that we could see. Don't necessarily have to though. But here already Sonya in a bit of trouble. Stun after stun, and the Blizzard as well. Body blocks and face melt. Nespa is down, and that is 3 kills against 0 and the early level 4 for the Bob Ross fan club. And here we have it. Overtake, as already expected, is the talent on level 4. Looks pretty much like we're going to see a copy of Lowell's build for the Damage Monk, which is pretty powerful, as you can tell. We already have the protective shield. Snowstorm now, a nice adjustment here. It's actually kind of funny if you think about it. Like the one game where Zuna has the opportunity to rely on Malfurion as a mana fountain, he goes into Arcane Intellect, and once Malfurion is gone, he goes straight into the Snowstorm. It doesn't really make too much sense to me just now. Map adjustment more than anything else, I suppose. But another kill even in the mid lane. Sonya is not having a fun time. Well, her damage potential is definitely not over 9,000 at this point. She needs to go into that chamber again and start training, because let's be honest here, that Super Saiyan status is still a mile away. We have level 4 talents now taken on the side of Team eLevate. Well, Stormbolt missed, and that does help Arthelon to escape. Gravity Lapse, yeah, that hits, but it doesn't really... there's no consequence to it. Leeching Plasma, Loon's Grace, Netherwind have been the talents and the focused attack. But, Arthelon should still be a little bit careful. Yeah, they missed quite a few of their spells, but still, you shouldn't overdo it here. Level 6, no, first tribute has been taken already up at the top, so there was no really contention there. Nothing that they could do. eLevate already realizing that they are in a bit of trouble. Actually, they're not only in a bit of trouble, they're in a world of pain right now. That pain train is rushing towards them fast. And we have now another push in the mid lane with a good rotation happening. 4 heroes meeting up in the mid lane, taking down that tower. They go straight for the wall as well. That's of course the vision mostly that you get, and that's exactly what they need now. Could even head for well, but the rotation is also on the side of eLevate now finally occurring so that they can defend against it. But it's not, I mean, it's level 7 now, and there's the way of 100 fists as already called. We're seeing Cleanse taken for Uther. We have Frostbitten. We see Just Keep on Rocking for the mini Relentless on level 7. And this is pretty much like a tricky situation for eLevate to be in. I mean, they are already down in the best of 3 series here in the winner bracket of the Enter the Storm North America playoffs. And now they are not looking too good in this second map either. I mean, so far we don't have the level 10s yet, so it's definitely too early to call anything here. But we have 4 kills against 0, and that's a very nice start for the Ross Fanclub into this first game. Tribute number 2 on the map, and they just don't stop. I mean, they go in, Grand Vision, Arthelon with the roaches, and he's starting to attack the whale. They won't be able to take this down, but, well, for now we're going straight into the tribute fight for tribute number 2. We are seeing now the Enduring Growth taken, Kala's Embrace and Piercing Bolt, and this is one of the moments where the eLevate can finally make a bit of a stand, and they're trying to do exactly that. Roaches everywhere, trying to stun them out. Kenma up at the top doing the exact same thing, body blocking Sonya. Sonya is trying to get away here. Oh, a lot of damage against Kenma. He's getting, oh my, no way, he dies after all. But we are now also see Malfurion dying down here. The fight is still going on. McIntyre dashes in again with his Damage Monk. Has of course a lot of mobility thanks to the dash, but already it's a 4 versus 4 and McIntyre is zoning and channeling that tribute. There we have it. Tribute number 2 in their favor now as well. It's a kill for a kill, 5 kills against 1 now overall, but still a level lead. And during all of that, we have still a camp pushing the top lane. And that's currently a Siege Giant camp that is starting to take down that fort. We have down to the bot lane now, McIntyre getting experience for the team, Sonya rotating, or it's Jaina rotating up to the top. Sonya actually going straight for a few of the camps for eLevate. She's trying to take one of the mercenary camps. Whereas we have McIntyre with... is actually very close to the boss. I'm wondering if they hit level 10 and try to go for the boss right away. Or if they go for the curse first, but definitely they have a lot of freedom to do whatever they want on the map if they get that. They take a few of the other camps now and they just still soak experience. Yeah, in an amazing spot. I mean, the situation for them is just absolutely phenomenal. They take another one, level 10 talents have now been reached just in time to hit that cursed tribute up to the top lane. Maw and Mosh Pit, Divine Shield is going to be taken. And we're going to see after the Water Elemental also the 7-sided strike. Again, personally, in this situation, I'm a huge favor of going into the Ring of Frost, because if you get a Divine Shield Mosh Pit with ETC off, then there's nothing better than having that Jaina with Blizzard, with Ring of Frost, and also on top of all of that, the Cone of Cold. So you get a lot of damage out of it. Water Elemental is, of course, always safe damage. It's pretty solid, it's pretty sweet. But with this particular composition, if you want to go for a bit of wombo combo potential, you definitely don't do anything wrong if you choose the Ring of Frost instead. McIntyre dashing in again, and it looks like, yes, there's the stun, and Kel'Thas is down. Dead meat, level 11 versus level 10. Tassadar falling versus Zuna at the top lane. Water Elemental slowing him down enough so that Zuna can get the damage in. Down here in the mid lane, we're having another attack. The Root against McIntyre just simply heals himself. Doesn't really care one way or another. They're 2 levels ahead now, and we finally see those level 10s for eLevate. They have now the Force Wall, Wrath of the Berserker, Phoenix, and also Tranquility plus Avatar. But the party has started. ETC is keeping them dancing. Bashik just barely revives them. More is hitting, and it's hitting hard. And, well, nobody dies. What I personally like quite a bit more is if you go into a Divine Shield Mosh Pit, and then once that the Mosh Pit duration is about to be over, you just maul the same heroes. That gives ETC time to recover his cooldowns and go straight in again for a quick stun, and then you can dish out the damage once more. One of the things, of course, that was missing in that fight was also Jaina, and that's a bit of an issue if you're really trying to get all that burst damage out that you can provide. So they couldn't really do too much here. But they have still a level 13 talent, and as you can see, it is relentless. Now for our damage monk, we have Shrink Ray taken. We are seeing Groupies and the Grooved Spines for the Hunter Killer. And no Mutalisk this time. That's also an interesting talent to take here. So Mutalisk hasn't been taken, but the damage increase. Mutalisk can of course be super annoying, but this time they felt they didn't really need it. Top lane boss is also claimed. That's a pretty sweet move from eLevate here. They really needed to make something happen, and that's the best thing that they can go for. I'm loving this though. While the boss is pushing the fort, they simply go straight for the keep. I mean, it doesn't get any cheekier than that. That's like the definition of sass right there. They go in and take that ball. The boss is already going straight for the fort. And of course what they do at the same time with this one is they make sure that there's no wave coming in, right? There's no minion wave. So there's, oh, Kenma might actually be in quite a bit of trouble. He might have to use that Divine Shield when he comes off cooldown. 2 seconds, but yeah, they don't really have to. The Monk at 9,000 damage. I mean, of course, he can't keep up with the Zagara, but let's be honest here for a second. Who can? Zagara is at 21,000, Jaina is at 18,000. But if you think about like melee assassin damage, the Monk is definitely not too far behind. Compare, for example, the hero damage that we see on Karazim now with the hero damage that we see on Sonya. 9,000 for both of them. And the important part is we still have 11,000 heals. And 11,000 heals, it's roughly what Malfurion was able to bring in. A bit less, of course, but still, that's not too bad. And the siege damage at 28,000 is all not too shabby. It's just pretty solid numbers overall. The Monk, when you play him for a damage build, is more one of those single target damage heroes. And it's still half a healer, which is quite sweet as well. Top fort has been eliminated, of course, thanks to the boss that eLevate was able to capture earlier. Down here, that keep didn't really take any damage, but of course we had a reaction from eLevate immediately after this wall was taken down. They needed to meet the boss, and that's what they did. But we have now level 14 versus level 12, another tribute spawning on the map, and already the Ross Fanclub on their way over there to make sure that they're going to capture another one. They are starting to get in position here. And things are looking so far pretty solid, since the level 13 talent isn't even ready for the opponent. But Jaina is up at the top. And I'm not quite sure what Zuna is doing there for all this long. There was basically nothing happening up there, so that's a little bit weird to me, to be honest with you. They let the tribute go, and I don't know why. I mean, normally if you try to just like de-push a lane to have a keep, like something pushing the keep, then of course it's understandable. But I'm not 100% certain why Zuna was at the top lane here. I mean, yeah, he can burst a few of those camps away and can put some pressure in, but letting the tributes go was not really necessary, especially since the opponent didn't even have level 13. Now they do though, and that gives us the Ice Block Chain Bomb. So Uther is down. The attack happened way too early. ETC with a dance move. Nice, more as a follow-up. I like that. Perfect timing. ETC can now slide through in a second again, and they can go for that fight, but force walls everywhere. Nespa is down. It's a 1 for 2, and Boss Floss is dying as well, making it 3 solid kills for the Ross Fanclub, and they're actually going for Hakfu now, and I think he has no chance of escape there. Yep, they already know exactly where he is. Hakfu tries with another force wall. That's not going to happen anytime soon, so Tassadar is going to fall eventually. Has even another move there, but of course not even with Prescience and all of his other spells is he going to be able to get away. He wastes a lot of time though for the Ross Fanclub. I mean, they really have to commit to this kill, don't they? In the meantime, we have another tribute on the map, so well, to the top lane, ETC already moving into channel lane. Level 16 talents now also ready, and that gives us, as predicted, the Blazing Fist for the cooldown reduction. We're having Benediction taken, Speed Metal now as well, part of the equation. And we're seeing after the Grooved Spines, now the Brute expansion. Standard talent for Zagara. I mean, you don't take anything else there. But either way, 11 kills against 2. And giving you a bit of an idea of the damage that we have seen dished out. 15,000 by now on Karazim, our damage monk, and still 14,000 heals. So if you compare that to Sonya, she's currently at 13,000 damage, so less than Karazim. 0 deaths. The only 2 deaths that we saw so far are on Kenma, the Uther player here. Died pretty early in the last fight. Of course, was also one of the priority targets. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about that. Camps taken all over the map to push eLevate even farther back. Keep in mind that there is a loser bracket. Like, this is not only the winner bracket. We have a loser bracket as well, and we are going to start with our matches in the loser bracket tomorrow. Today we're going to be all about that winner bracket and going to see who's going to be able to advance here to the semifinals of the winner bracket with our 8 teams, of course, that qualified for the Enter the Storm North America. Zuna, Arthalon, and Kenma are down to the bot lane, trying to push that in now. And McIntyre is already working at those siege giants. Zuna is helping out. They're just like sieging this position up as we have another tribute spawning on the map. It's still 17 versus 15, so it's a 60 talent. ETC is about to get sniped, gets healed though, and dashes out. The camp taken, and in comes Muradin, using straight his ultimate. But Nespa is about to die. ETC with the heroic ability of Uther, the Divine Shield is protecting him. 7-sided strike hasn't even been used by McIntyre. There we go, he finishes off Muradin. Good kill, and they dash in after the Maw to eliminate now also the rest of those heroes. Hakfu is able to get away, but that keep can't run. So yeah, unfortunately for the keep, it has not learned how to move away just yet and how to retreat, so it just stands there, gets pummeled into the ground. And after in the last game, the Ross Fanclub have been, they needed in the last game 9.5 minutes to take down Team eLevate. They played this one a little bit sloppier, 4 more minutes, and then they're able to claim it, Kappa. So, yep, there we go. It looks like it's going to be a secure 2-0 victory for the Ross Fanclub. 9 minutes and 13.5. GG and well played, and the Ross Fanclub advances to the semifinals of the winner bracket. Alright everybody, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed the commentary and also the game. If you really liked it, feel free to also share it with your friends, especially of course if they're interested in Heroes of the Storm esports. And if you like the video, then also hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. And if you want to support the channel and myself, then you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Thanks again for watching today. I really hope that you enjoyed the show. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I hope to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm here on KhaldorTV.